feel you had the right, when these women, once again, they lost the fathers of their children, don't they have a right at that point, right, to question the leader of our country?
Sure,
don't they have a right to do that?
My point is, you're missing the point. My point is that, yes, they have a right to inject themselves into the public debate. They can call George Bush whatever they want to call him. But we have a right to respond. That's my complaint. They say, oh, we have a right to go around attacking, but you can't respond because my husband died.
Okay. They only have a right to do what?
They have a right to say whatever they want. That isn't the point. Do I have a right to respond?
Of course you're right, but I also have a right to say it's a cruel, mean, insensitive thing.
Okay, then that's not a right.
Civil, what?
Why just then let Howard Dean make the point if you're going to mope and cry and say, oh, that was me.
But basically, what if I lost, God forbid?
Never do that.
This is Republic. First of all, by the way, George Bush, and I will bring out the commercials, used in commercials, 9/11 widows. So he had his posse of widows.
He's fighting the war on terrorism.
Not doing a very good job of it, by the way.
My wife died on 9/11, and you can't criticize anything I say. That is what.
But where were you? What gave you the knowledge base? What gave you the wisdom to say, oh, this is why these women are doing it? Had you ever met those women? Have you ever spent time with them?
No.
So didn't you just, as a human being, feel the basics? Even if I felt, for instance, that somebody whose husband or father died, and let's take Ken Lay, for instance. You don't think there's a lot of people in this country that maybe feel, I don't know, maybe he offed himself, or maybe the New York Post did that thing?
Oh, yes, I've heard that on liberal hate radio.
I've heard it on radio prayers. That's not, once again, this is not a liberal issue. This is a guy that cost a lot of people their livelihoods. And once again, I would never dance on that person's grave. I'm not in a position to sit in judgment while his wife is mourning. These people lost loved ones.
Well, if that's the case, if what you're saying is the rule is you can never criticize someone who has lost a loved one, then don't pick them as their spokespeople.
No, I do think there needs to be, we as human beings have an extra level of sensitivity, of
Okay, then don't let those people be the spokesman.
Who's they?
Let Howard Dean.
Why shouldn't they be the spokesman? They pay more of a price than anybody.
Because you just explained why
not?
they shouldn't.
Why shouldn't they be spokespeople for it?
Because it isn't just
Why
these
can't
four
Cindy
women.
Sheehan, who lost a son, be a spokesperson? Why wouldn't she be a spokesperson?
She can be a spokesperson, but we can respond. My point is liberals use this doctrine of infallibility, always sending out someone that you'll get.
I'm not a liberal.
It doesn't matter if you're a liberal. The point is the point
you were totally out of line for whacking them that way.
It doesn't matter if you're a liberal. I'm making the point that liberals are sending out these human shields that we're not allowed to respond to.
So basically, there was this.
So let somebody else make the point.
There was this underground. There was this underground. There were these thousands of liberals underneath the Port Authority building that put those. Said, let's get those four women together.
No,
let's send them out.
Graydon Carter. It takes one person to put them out there.
This was Graydon Carter that put these women together to do this.
And Chris Matthews and people inviting them on their TV shows. They aren't the only four people who suffered on 9/11.
And we all suffered, but they suffered the ultimate consequence. And
no,
they did. What do you mean no? So did you suffer as much as they did?
No, but
nor did I.
30,000 other relatives of victims did.
And you're telling me
these are the only four we keep hearing from.
We heard from a lot of them, but you think that the 30...
No.
Only these four, the Jersey girls.
No.
We didn't hear from any other widows.
Not
we didn't hear from
many.
any...
We didn't.
We didn't.
They weren't feted in Vanity Fair. They weren't on Hardball every night.
Every night.
No, they weren't.
Okay. Speaking of hardball, you are a wordsmith. You use a lot of interesting words. When you talk about Michael Dukakis, in the past, you call him a little Greek midget. When you talk about Monica Lewinsky, you talk about a fat Jewish girl. Are those the exact words or exact types of things?
Well, you have to read it in the full context of the sentence.
But why go there? I'm going to go back to all three of these things are related. The fact that I don't think we're as divisive as possible, that going after these women I just felt was nothing but mean-spirited and calculated. I'm just being honest with you. Why do we have to attach
I really
this tone
think
to
it's
it?
mean-spirited to be setting up the country to make it more vulnerable to the next terrorist attack.
These Jersey girls were saying, so Chris Matthews, Graydon Carter, all this media was saying, they were saying, I got it. We're going to make us less safe. We're going to make it less safe for our children by doing a kind of shift towards these four women who lost. I missed those meetings.
John Kerry himself says that these four women are responsible for the 9/11 Commission. The 9/11 Commission, as I say, whitewashed the whole wall between separation of the FBI and intelligence. That is why we didn't know. That's what we should be getting to the bottom of. And by the way, the reason liberals love these commissions is the commissions, the independent commissions. We have a commission to investigate things like this. It's called the United States Congress. We're paying their salaries, but those are representatives elected by people. When they have an independent commission, they can fiddle with the membership, and that's precisely what the 9/11 Commission is. That is what I describe in my book. And there are a lot of 9/11 widows. Let's take a poll of the relatives of victims and see how many supported George Bush and how many supported the guy who voted for funding the troops before he voted against it.
I would be an interesting poll. We're going to take a break with the very reserved Ann Coulter. When we come back, more Firewood.
You're not exactly reserved.
Why should I be?